Are live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that I feel like I had something in the chamber, and I completely forgot what it was as we started recording.
The only show that forgets its opening on a weekly basis.
No, can't be us. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing this fine Sunday morning?
Well, as I explained to you before the show, I've been sleeping on a recliner for the past couple days.
I cannot believe it.
So it could be better. But I'm awake. I'm lively. I'm excited. What's not to be excited about? You know, it's like there's a lot of wrestling going on. Today's Wrestle Dream, the first ever Wrestle Dream. The new era of AEW begins, whatever the hell that means. Yeah, I'm excited.
I cannot believe that you've been sleeping in a recliner for the past 2 weeks. That's insane to me.
You know why you shouldn't be shocked? Because I don't have good sleeping habits as is.
Yeah, I mean, you got me there. I think you got me.
I think I sleep less now, which is like obviously bad, but you know.
My Jessie. My Jessie. My fiance Jessie.
Like Jessie's girl. Shout out YouTube, you're welcome.
When she was younger, I think this was high school, I want to say, she tore her labrum, I think it is, in her shoulder. Basically, like, messed up her shoulder really bad. And at the time, she couldn't get surgery immediately. And this was at the beginning of summer, and she didn't end up getting surgery, I believe, till the end of summer. So for about 3 months, she had a torn labrum in her shoulder. She's still having issues like today with it. Like, she has like very limited mobility. But I say this because of her shoulder and her torn labrum, she couldn't sleep in her bed, or she would like move around and mess up her shoulder even more. So she had to sleep in a recliner for, I believe, roughly 3 months. With her
what makes it
torn
worse
shoulder
is the torn shoulder.
Yeah.
like that automatically makes it worse. But yeah, I hope I never have to do the same.
No, me neither. I that's why I don't go outside. That's why we were here watching wrestling and doing podcasting.
That is exactly why we do this. That's why a lot of people do it, so they don't have to sleep on recliners.
My whole goal of the show is to never touch grass. That's the whole idea. The whole conceit of Ring Post Radio is to avoid
I already
grass.
broke that rule because CM Punk yelled at me to touch grass a long time ago, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
And of course, we had to listen to the man.
Had to. You know, all that he's done for AEW and our interesting podcasts. He did a lot to make podcasts interesting. Shout out to CM Punk.
If he didn't do anything in this past run for AEW, it's to make podcasting interesting.
Oh yeah, that's a real friend right there.
I remember what my bit was to start the episode. I fully remember what my bit was. So
what was your bit?
My bit was that I feel like, you know, we've been doing this show for a while now, right? We're at episode 115, if you can believe it. And we've done obviously more episodes than just that. We've done pay-per-view reviews. We've done sort of like bonus interviews. So we're probably at like, I don't know, 125, 130 maybe, as like in terms of total episodes.
Sure.
And I feel like, you know, we've cultivated a little bit of a fan base. We've cultivated some listeners to the show. I feel
I'm still
like
shocked when someone says RPR to me. I'm like, oh, okay.
it's a well-known, well, maybe not well-known. It's a very niche show for that will eventually explode, of course. With our continued support from our fans. And I think we have to like give something back to those fans. You know, I feel like a classic thing that most shows do is that they give some sort of name to their community. So I've written down some names here,
no.
Scotty, to run by you if you please.
Sure.
All right. Number 1, the Ringers.
Okay, that makes me think of the WWE podcast, By the Ringer.
You're right. They're right. That is a podcast. That's also fun fact about me. That was the name of the band I was in middle school. The Ringers.
Hey, how about that?
Can you look up? Can you, listener, find that video? Those videos on YouTube.
If you can,
tell them. If you can, call in 2525 Ring PR. The other name, the Posters. Is that the Posters?
Sure.
Is that fine? You know, I think that works more for like message boards or something.
Yeah, sure.
And then the other one I have written down here are the Radioheads. Do you think we can get away with the Radioheads?
I think we could push it.
Do you think Tom York will find us and
let me think of like something ridiculous?
You're telling me Radiohead
is
ridiculous?
Bits do we have that go on the show? We
got
a lot of bits.
The something with evil, something of how the torturers. Is that something? No, that's more of the House of Torture fan heads.
The Mutos.
The great Mutos. Mutos. No. I think that works.
As everyone can tell, we're trying to waste time today.
Yeah, I mean it's a light show. It's a light show this week.
It's a light show. Chance of an overcast, you know.
What about the great big purple people eaters? Is that too long? You know, our show. We have the
little too long. I would probably never, ever call anyone that. I think it's a little too much. Let's call them the I got nothing.
What about the sleepy beepies? Is that the? I feel
I'm trying to think of like. I have no idea.
Okay, well, we'll come up with something, folks. And if you
we've lost the plot,
we'll come up with something. If you have any ideas, leave us a voicemail at 2525 Ring PR. I'm making sure to do that plug. That's right, we got a voicemail.
All those fans that we have, they're gone now after that bit.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It was a good run.
It's funny because as soon as I started doing this bit, I saw the viewer count on YouTube go from 1 to 0. And you know that hurt. As soon as I started doing the bit, I was like, "Well, that."
They said, "Nah, I'm good."
I
will ask. I want to know. I know a lot of people watch this show post live. We just happen to do it live, just in case. But yeah, whatever. We'll just talk now.
Yeah. Well, I also
we'll get into the regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, I haven't done any of the tweets or anything yet, so I got to do all that stuff too. But yeah, I don't care. We got like a lot of stuff to talk about, but like none of it is like a big depth of conversation. I feel like. So I don't know.
Enochiism is back. Josh Barnett is wrestling at Wrestle Dream. We are on fire, folks.
What do you think the new era will be for AEW? If you had to take a guess, what Tony Khan thinks the new era is? Do you think it's just signing somebody, or do you think it's like a max deal gets announced? Do you think like I don't know? I don't freaking know. I mean, do you think Enochiism is full on back in AEW? Like, what do you think the hell he means by new era? And is it something Gato would say, Bullet Club style?
I've been thinking about this because on Collision last night, I think Kevin Kelly said it like 7 different times. I was like, oh, wait,
they're really hyping it up. They're really hyping it up.
Yeah, which is dangerous, right? You don't really want to hype something up unless you could deliver on it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What is delivering on the new era of AEW? Like, what does that look like? Like, what to you would they need to do to deliver on the new era of AEW. Because to me, it could just be as simple as the Max deal. But at the same time, I think if the Max deal is announced on this pay-per-view, most people are going to be like, okay, they're going to want something wrestling related.
You would think,
and I don't know what that is unless it's like Edge. But like, what about Edge makes it the new era?
I
you
agree.
know?
Yeah.
I think it would have been funny if like they just added like a second women's match to the pay-per-view. Be like, this is the new era. Oh, okay. All right, cool. But I don't know. I don't know. They're not gonna buy New Japan. Tell you that right now. I can't believe that got traction.
No, I get so much traction that what was it? Did Dave ask about it to Tony Khan on that media call?
I don't know if Dave asked about it, but I know Tony Khan talked about it in all seriousness, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, or at least the
I was
seriousness.
like, we're talking about this.
Yeah, it was.
Which was just absurd.
Yeah, I don't know what new era means. I think Edge or a couple signings is a good idea for a new era. Bringing some lifeblood into this promotion, if you will.
You're feeling a Nokiism?
Nokiism. Yeah, let's do some more shoot fighters. Let's bring in Josh Barnett. Let's bring in
Kazuyuki Fujita.
Let's bring in Matt Riddle, I guess.
Goldberg.
Matt Riddle counts, I guess. Oh.
Classic Inokiism guy.
Goldberg. Yeah, we'll just do all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let's get.
Do you think we get multiple surprises tonight?
I think there's a chance. I mean, there's like freaking dude. There's like 4 free agents that are all like. Wait, hold on. 5 free agents, I believe, that are like known available today. That like any one of them could be picked up and debut tonight or this upcoming Wednesday.
I think, yeah. So it has to be Edge. I think that's the one that everyone will actually be upset about if he doesn't show up because it feels the most likely.
I fully believe Edge is coming in. I fully believe that to be the case. Yeah. I think there's potential for other people. Like if like a Mercedes Moné popped up, I think that's also helps new era stuff. I don't think, no offense to Mariah May, I mean she's great, but she's not new era. I don't think that.
She would be new era. It's a new women's wrestler.
Sure, but not.
But that's like not the dramatic idea of the new era. Yes.
Yeah, new era is like something has to radically change, and I don't think. No offense to her, I don't think Mariah May is that radical change for the women's division. But you never know. You never know. Could be wrong. Could certainly be wrong. I guess we'll find out for sure. Maybe the new era, as Bjorn writes in the chat, is 14 match pay-per-view with a shit ton of matches.
To me, this is back to the old days. We're back to the big ass cards, baby.
My fear is that the show's ending at like 2 a.m. That's my fear right now.
The 10 match card they get through in 4 hours usually.
I guess that's true. But let's talk about some of the news today. So of course, let's roll back through. I mentioned that there's a shit ton of free agents around. There's rumors of Edge coming in. There's rumors of Mariah May. Some people have newly in this past week become free agents, or the reports of them becoming free agents have been finalized, and some people have been fully signed. So we got some contract news to discuss with you, Scotty. And I will do my I'll do my best Brian Alvarez impression, and I'll just say a freaking name. So here we go. Katsuhiko Nakajima. Thoughts on Katsuhiko Nakajima being a free agent?
I mean, that's obviously a big one.
Pretty big,
I'd say. However, big. You know what my first reaction was when it happened?
What's that?
I thought this was going to happen last year.
Well,
after like all the stuff.
Well, it seems like that's when he started thinking about it at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, between the Fujita loss, the knocking out Tetsuya Endo, knocking out another guy, Kenya Okada, I believe. I felt like, and again, this could just be me, but I felt like it was inevitable because I just didn't see them probably ever giving him the ball again. You know, like I just don't see them giving him the ball again or anytime soon. Like obviously things change and eventually that could happen, but that was my ultimate take on it. And I think him leaving, depending what he does, is the right choice. I'm personally hoping for All Japan. I don't know about you. I think All Japan's a perfect fit for him. I've seen people toss in New Japan.
Hmm.
Lij is not in the need of members right now, so that's the only faction I would see him in. Um,
a group that is missing one member that is just five
that
guys?
would be good. That would be good. I think he would be decent there, but I'm still sold on Yu more for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if the US part that Tokyo Sports like talked about a little bit is a reality. At least WWE, that couldn't make less sense if it tried. 5'9" guy who hits really hard and has no like promo skills. No, promo skills at least for America. You know, like no, that's not going to happen. Especially in the new WWE, it's not going to happen. Maybe he, you know what? Maybe he just got wind of the WWE Noah and he was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of here now. You know, because he saw Muto was crafting a plan backstage, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna get the hell out of here." But if I'm All Japan, I'm very happy because you could possibly trade Jake Lee for Katsuhiko Nakajima. I don't think there'd be a greater trade in the history of pro wrestling. You get rid of the scrub for a great wrestler all
Hmm.
day, baby.
Yeah. Sure.
Well,
uh,
you can book him in Kento.
no,
That's as big as anything.
I think that I would love for him. I mean, him to WWE makes zero sense whatsoever. That just wouldn't work. Like, you've seen a similar thing with like Kenta coming over to WWE and that just literally falling apart. Shinsuke Nakamura, he's around, but he's a literal shell of his former self. Um, so it just won't work at all, especially like how Nakajima works with those kicks. Just doesn't work at all. AEW, I think that that's the only obvious American spot for him. I think, and even then, like anywhere in the states, they're going to tell him to lighten up on his kicks. Like
And
so,
I don't want Katsuhiko Nakajima if he's lighting up, baby.
yeah. So I think that's really the only thing. I
Yeah.
think if he were to stay in Japan, I would love to see. You're right. Like I would love for at the very least, if not stay there, um, go to All Japan at least once to have the Kento Miyahara match again. I think that would be
Yeah.
great. I think that's a great move, and also that would be a great move. That's a huge get for All Japan. Like you said, losing Jake Lee is oh man, they really lost somebody there. But gaining a guy like Katsuhiko Nakajima in All Japan would already be huge for them. They've been having a really good year, really great year. They've been slowly getting a little bit better in attendance, or at the very least, Noah has been doing so poorly in attendance that you would think this might put him over the line for All Japan. And if he went to New Japan, I think that's fine too. I have nothing against that. I think he could work well in New Japan. It's just a matter of what slot he goes into.
Yeah.
I don't know what that slot would be. He has.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of which ties he has in New Japan that I'm thinking of. I
The
mean,
thing with Nakajima is I think he will be smart in whatever he picks.
mhm.
I just this to me there's very much a lineup of what is better for him.
Yeah.
At least in my book. I think All Japan's first. I think All Japan's it's a big fish in a small pond, but that small pond often gets the best out of their big fish, I
Mhm.
would say. Um, I think New Japan, he would just be another guy. Awesome because he gets some cool matchups, but just another guy. There's a very good chance he just goes freelance.
Yeah, certainly
That's
possible.
easy. He could jump here or there. I'm
You could pop up
sure.
in GLEAT. We talking GLEAT now? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, they like to pay people money
mm-hmm,
randomly, right?
mm-hmm.
So you never know. That's a possibility as well.
Sammy Callahan is also a free agent as of today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sammy Callahan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have. I don't know if it's possible to have like zero thoughts about someone at this current stage of their career, but I have zero thoughts about Sammy Callahan. The
Yeah.
last great Sammy Callahan performance I saw was against Kenny Omega when Kenny Omega was Impact World Champion. And I don't know if you guys know this, Kenny Omega, pretty great, you know? So, so like that may have been a lot of him,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know.
Yeah. Sammy Callahan's an interesting guy. A guy that, if he was a free agent maybe 5 years ago. Oh, Scotty's gone. Scotty fully gone. I'm sure he'll be popping back up shortly. Sorry about that, folks. But I think Sammy Callahan's a guy that if he was maybe available like 5 years ago or something like that, I think. Oh, he's back. Scotty, are you back?
I'm in technical
Oh, he is in technical difficulty village.
difficulties on my end, but yes, I am back.
Okay, let's maybe we'll see. There was a little bit of weirdness there, but we'll see if that gets any better. Sammy Callahan, I think he's a guy like maybe 4 or 5 years ago would have been a more interesting prospect, but he's I think he is a way better booker than he is a wrestler. I'll say that.
In the year of 2020.
In the year of 2023, I think he's been doing solid stuff for Wrestling Revolver. I think he should just continue doing that. Wrestling wise, I have no really interest in seeing him. The big thing is that you got the same reports coming out that like AEW is like seemingly fully interested. Maybe not AEW. John Moxley and some people in the locker room are big supporters of Sammy Callahan, and I'm surely they're putting their names in for Sammy Callahan to show up to AEW. I think it's just sort of like, do we really what new era is Sammy Callahan bringing to AEW? A more violent era? Is that the plan? A more spit-filled era? I don't know. Nothing against the man. It's just he's done the same gimmick now for like years, and I've seen the same thing over and over and over again for what feels like years. So I'm good. I'm good. So I don't know. I'm glad. I like watching what he's been doing with Wrestling Revolver more than what he's been doing in the ring in 2023.
If Moxley has as much say as we know he does, I'll prepare myself.
Yeah, I'll prepare my body for Sammy Callahan. Wait, what? Jade Cargill officially signed to WWE. That's she's officially signed. There has been no report yet on where she's going to go in terms of brands. However, they did announce the female competitors for the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, and Jade Cargill wasn't in it. So unless she is not announced for that tournament, she's just going to pop up on NXT, or I think more likely she's popping up on the main roster. Remains to be seen, but she's officially signed to WWE.
Red carpet treatment, absolute megastar treatment right off the rip for Jade Cargill. If you are a fan of Jade Cargill, if you are a fan of what Jade Cargill can be, you couldn't be happier than the way they handled this. You know, like she is coming in as an absolute star, I think, for this company. And the only other time they did this was for Cody, because I know Cody showed up as a surprise, But after that, he did like entire media circuit, literally everything, like immediately right after. And this is how you tell AEW wrestlers, we're interested. We're not only interested in you, we're willing to give you a huge treatment, treat you as one of our biggest stars if you're willing to come here. And I think it's so smart, right? Now they're 2 for 2 essentially in the way, and Jade hasn't wrestled yet, but in terms of the rollout, you couldn't be treated bigger. And I think that is just going to do so much good for them moving forward when other free agents come out, especially when it comes to Cody's people, which Jade, of course, is.
Here's looking at you, Ricky Starks. I think the time. I think the clock is ticking on that one.
Revolution is televised.
The Revolution is televised on Monday Night Raw or wherever it'll show up in 2024. Yeah, no, I agree. The rollout's been spectacular on Jade Cargill. They're doing everything right, and this is obviously sort of like another shot across the bow for WWE. That they're trying to make it, of course, as they should. And yeah, it just remains to be seen where she goes, and I think what she does. I think that's that's obviously, the rollout can be great, but if she shows up and it's just sort of like a scrub, then that defeats the whole purpose. So I doubt that'll be the case. I'm just saying.
They probably paid her a lot of money, if I had to guess. Yeah. I will say, this is my thought. I think the main roster actually makes the most sense for her.
Agreed. I fully agree.
And it's because there's house shows. Mm-hmm. And she's going to wrestle on those house shows. And I think that does as much help, because with NXT, what are you going to do? Just have her train in the PC? It's like, that's all she was doing in AEW. Well, not the PC, but training in a ring, right? At wherever they train and so on and so forth. Yeah. So hopefully this all works out. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think Jade's going to be a mega star. AEW made her a star. WWE is now going to try to make her a superstar, which in WWE's language is exactly what they will do, because she is now a WWE superstar. But you get my point.
CMLL, MLW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling have officially announced a tri-partnership between the three companies. Obviously, New Japan and MLW have been sort of already kind of working together, with Kushida showing up on Fury Road last month, or earlier this month or whatever, but it's been formally announced. CMLL announced that they are working with MLW. MLW released a joint statement saying, quote, "It's a privilege and honor to forge an alliance with CMLL and work with Mr. Salvador Lutheroth Lomai and his team while expanding MLW's relationship with New Japan to create an extraordinary collaboration," said MLW CEO Court Bauer. Now, of course, working with New Japan and Kushida and presumably Rocky Romero and everything down the line. Well, I think they've already worked with Rocky Romero, now that I think of it. Doing all that stuff down the line. Obviously, what does that mean for MLW? But also, what does it mean for CMLL? Well, I think that's an important one, because previously MLW have been working with AAA, and now, if they're working with CMLL, that AAA partnership is being kicked to the curb. So good. What do you think about MLW working with New Japan, CMLL, and of course, we cannot forget that the first CMLL champion that they bring in, of course, is Rocky Romero. So of course, do you think this is a legit partnership? We're going to finally see Will Ospreay and MLW, a man they promised, 2 years ago, I think, at this point?
No.
Are we going to see Mystico show up on the Fury Road? Or is this just another MLW announcement that's just kind of getting blown up to the nth degree?
To me, this is using New Japan to create a spot for CMLL to go in America, because otherwise all you have is New Japan Strong, and that's not enough, I think, for the popularity that CMLL has created over the past couple months, especially, or this year overall. So to me, it's using New Japan as a pathway because we've already seen this with Rev Pro. They are using that relationship to create something for CMLL there, and now they're using MLW. And I think it's smart to go through New Japan. New Japan has so many relationships now that it's like, hey, let's, can you guys cool buddying in on this? And we'll, New Japan has tiers, right? Like the way they send talent to certain promotions, they do it in tiers. So MLW is the bottom tier. You'll get Minoru Suzuki, Kushida, you know, maybe an Ishii off maybe once you'll get like a Ishii.
Sure.
Right? Impact will get the Leo Rush, Kenta, certain guys like that that are a little higher level that they actually care to push. And then AEW will get Okada, Zack, Ospreay, the guys. And I think that's perfect. Because in that sense, they are creating relationships for CMLL, who is their best partner, right? That is their best partner, their longest partner now. I just wish we could do this with AEW. Some of us would love to see Teton just duking it out on Collision with, like, I don't know, anyone. Or Masquerade Dorada. Or, the real Masquerade Dorada, not that fake that they call Metal Leak.
Get that 1.0 shit out of here.
Not that fraud.
Yeah, I think it's I think you're right. I think having another pathway that isn't just New Japan in America, which is, every couple of months. I think having another pathway for CMLL in the States is a good move. Obviously AEW wasn't happening, as much to my chagrin. And yeah, I guess I could have done Impact. I guess there's still possible that they could do Impact.
Impact still works with AAA.
Do they?
They have Black Taurus, so yeah.
Oh, and Laredo Kid. Yeah, I guess technically they do work with AAA. So yeah, so I think MLW is really the only other option here in terms of a minor promotion, I guess. Yeah. I'm okay with it. It's MLW, it's Court Bauer. I put all of these press releases at an arm's length. Remember, I jokingly said Will Ospreay finally coming in. That was a big. When they moved to Vice TV or whatever, that one TV special they announced Will Ospreay coming in, never came in once. So I put all this stuff in arm's length.
Impact.
He's been on Impact. He's going to be on Impact against Speedball in a couple of weeks. I just put all of this at arm's length for MLW. But if it does mean we get CMLL wrestlers other than Rocky Romero, then I will certainly accept it. If we can bring in, we're not going to bring in Mystico. There's no freaking way. We're not going to bring in. I mean, maybe we'll bring in a Teton.
I wouldn't count Mystico out here. I will say the one good thing about MLW is that they really tried to re-embrace the Lucha Underground thing.
Yeah.
While that didn't work out as well because they just didn't have the top guys that you'd want to see.
Yeah.
They do seem to care about the Lucha aspect, and if that involves again bringing in Dorada, Teton, Soberano Jr., that's going to make their product something that I will go out of my way to see those guys. So
sure.
It's smart. It's smart. And I did see that the idea is to maybe try to get Jacob Fatu there, and I'd be like, Jacob Fatu in a CMLL ring would be psychotic. But
yes,
I kind of would love it.
I apologize for reading this on my phone, but I got the screenshot on my phone. So this is from the Observer about this sort of issue. Because they are working with CMLL and not AAA, Sam Adonis will not be returning. They hope to send
Darn.
He's been doing good work in MLW, I'll say. They hope to send Jacob Fatu to CMLL, although that is pending, given Fatu has a legal issue that could be a holdup. That issue also stopped Fatu from going to Noah when MLW and Noah were working together as well as AAA. Does that mean we could have gotten Jacob Fatu in the N1 instead of Lance Anoa'i?
Maybe not this. Maybe.
On screen, Selena De La Renta.
Very possible.
On screen, Selena De La Renta, who just returned, will be used as the person bringing talent in from Mexico, a role she did in the past with AAA. As part of the deal, all MLW talent can't work anywhere in Mexico except for CMLL. So, at the very least, that AAA partnership is dead. They're not going to work with the Crash anymore. If they're going to work in Mexico, it is for CMLL or bust. So, we're probably going to see a lot more of those talent. Alice Hammerstones, eventually, maybe.
Say a lot.
Well, yeah, maybe your top guys. Alex Hammerstone, maybe a Fatu eventually.
Anytime CMLL does like one of those shows where they need foreigners, that's when we'll see them. That is it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, CMLL just runs their roster, and they're very happy doing so.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair. I think that's completely
fair. If MLW were smart, they'd give Stephanie Vaquer their belt. Just saying.
I would. You know for a fact I would take that over everything that's happening right now in the featherweight division.
I try my best to pitch Stephanie Vaquer pretty much everywhere at this point.
You're telling me that
I just want someone to listen.
You're telling me that you want God Queen Delmi Exo to do the job?
I've never seen her wrestle, but you told me she was terrible. So
yeah. I saw a match with her recently in MLW. She's like this, she's a God Queen MLW. She's kind of like a Charlotte Flair-esque.
The God Queen, of course.
Of course. We all understand this gimmick.
Oh, I don't even know what the hell that means.
She was doing like babyface fire spots. And I was like, "You're a heel. you're the bad person. Why are you doing like I did a move and then like the fist pumping? Yeah,
you are the bad person.
you're the bad person.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?" WWE have formally announced a new media rights deal for Japan, which is a pretty big deal for them because of two things. Number one, this will be the first time returning to Japanese television since 2021, when their deal with J Sports ended in 2021. But this new partnership was announced for WWE and Abema TV. So starting this October, WWE programming will stream exclusively on Abema platforms in Japan. So they will carry Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and premium live events. Starting with Raw this upcoming Tuesday. Scotty, what do you think about this new Abema deal? And what do you think about Abema's connections, of course, with Noah? And Keiji Muto bringing up this idea of, hey, he's involved in the broadcast. I saw the thing where he's doing an interview with Finn Balor. And he has openly stated that he would like to be a bridge between Noah and WWE. So he believes that there is a possibility of something about WWE and Noah will be born into this. So what do you think about this, what this means for WWE going to Japan again since 2021? And what do you think this means? Is NXT Japan happening? Is that what this means? Is NXT Japan finally happening? Global localization has finally planted ground on the soils of Japan.
I don't know how badly do you think they want to buy a roster of 40-year-olds? Like besides Kaito Kiyomiya, everyone is 30 and up.
Let's look up this Noah roster here. Let's look at the age.
I don't think you want to, because it got worse this week anyways.
Yeah.
Go Shiozaki's like 38, 40. No, he's 41.
He's old. He is old.
Kino's 38. Kino, whatever the hell you want to call him. Sure. Like that's it. Yoshiki Inamura is like 33. Masaki Kitamiya is like 33. 35 probably.
Marufuji's like 42, 43.
Yeah. You see my point here? You see my point here?
Yeah, it's pretty
and Jake Lee's just ass. So like, you don't want him. Oh, you want the junior division? You want Hayata? Is that what you're telling me? You want Hayata? Like, I think the idea, like, and a lot of people had fun jokes with this. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. man. Like, who cares? Like, I don't think all of a sudden Endeavor's just going to be throwing out money to go purchase pro wrestling.
Yeah, I don't. There's something about like I understand picking up new independent roster talents for WWE proper, but
Yeah,
buying a whole promotion and doing all this stuff, I don't think that's in the cards for TKO right now.
unless it's for like $5. Like,
Well,
yeah, sure.
yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not too worried about anything, just because like it's just Muto.
It's just Muto being
just
Muto.
talks, you know.
Muto is talking because he wants money. He wants some sort of deal.
He's a worker for life, boys.
Yeah.
Like he ain't stopping until, never. He's just never gonna stop. And I don't know. It's fine. I think the thing with WWE in Japan is like, and you and me talked about this. If you're a pro wrestling fan, you're not watching WWE in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching New Japan, right? You're watching All Japan, Noah, Stardom. Like, you're watching the promotions that you have. That's why like WWE wasn't on TV in Japan for the longest time.
For 2 years.
Yeah, like it's, to me, that's just like the telling tale. And good for them that they got TV, obviously, because that's more money for them.
Yeah. I'm sure that's great. Good things for them there. Yeah, it's getting on TV, that's a good TV rights deal. Going on a Bema, that's very interesting. But I don't think this necessarily means the end of days for Noah. End of days. New NXT Japan's coming in. There's nothing.
Oh, man. Baron Corbin and Noah, you are so right. That's definitely gonna happen.
Maybe that's what WWE does with all of their older, like fledgling talent. And like
instead of sending them to NXT, they send them to Noah,
or getting rid of them and dropping like a Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin. Instead of dropping these guys, just send all these old.
They want Shelty B back, baby.
Just send all these old roster members they got nothing to do with, and they're still paying. Send them on to Noah, Ziggler and Noah.
They're spring chicken and Noah, baby.
Shelton Benjamin and Noah. Who's the other guy you said?
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin, Noah. Just send all of these guys to Noah. That could work.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler.
Look at Shinsuke Nakamura. He went to Noah and he came back, and now he's like trying to break Seth Rollins' back.
You're telling me you don't want to see Dolph Ziggler versus Jack Morris?
No, I don't want.
You take that back. You take that back.
Actually,
I take that back.
No part of me wants to see that. Yeah, that'd be a sick match. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Shelton Benjamin. Give me that.
Well, I mean,
that's what I want.
We can all. I mean, of course, that's going to be a great match.
That'd be sick. That would be so sick.
That would be very good. I'm gonna look up the WWE roster to see if there's any other
40-year-olds.
Akira Tozawa, you're doing nothing with him. Over to Noah. Just send him over.
Akira Tozawa would save the junior division.
Save the junior division. Apollo Crews, send them to Noah. Why not?
Apollo Crews could cook.
He could do well. Junior, heavyweight, I guess heavyweight. Anyone else for sending over to Noah? Who else? Do they start a women's division in Noah? I guess they're already kind of starting a women's division in Noah, kind of, very loosely. Who else are we not doing anything with? Dexter Lumis, Noah.
Dexter Lumis still works.
Apparently, Drew Gulak, Noah, send him in. Fly.
Johnny Gargano. Here we go.
Johnny Gargano. He's doing
Johnny Gargano versus Jake Lee for the GHC heavyweight title. Everything that Mitsuharu Misawa envisioned for his company.
There's just Jinder Mahal, Noah, send them in.
Listen, Noah would love this, right? Because they brought in Saxon Huxley, they brought in Timothy Thatcher. They're all in. Stallion Rogers. Come on,
Shinsuke Nakamura, Noah, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, Noah, Karrion Kross, Noah. Just send them in, fly them in. Instead
of like them buying Noah, we have essentially sent all the people that WWE does not use to Noah.
That's my whole point. You're not using any of these people. Send them over to Noah. Who cares? They're old. They would fit right in. They would look like you said, like spring chickens. You're not using them anyway, so who cares? Just send these guys over. There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to, I think.
I could give you a reason not to.
You know who I would honestly love to see in Noah? You know who would legitimately be great? And honestly, if Nakajima was still in the... Okay, this is what I want to see. Go Shiozaki versus Sheamus.
Oh, that'd be peace.
Sheamus
getting a Japan run is still the dream.
That would be great. That would actually legitimately be great. But yeah, just...
How dare you throw Sheamus into that batch of rub-a-dub-dubs that you just gave us.
Rub-a-dub-dubs. I mean, that's what they're picking up. They're picking up the dubs. For sure. No one's ain't winning in these matches. Anyways. I would love that. Just send literally everybody that you got. All these olds, send them to Noah. Who cares? Jake Lee.
They're all young. They're all young for Noah though. So
that's fair. That is fair. Jake Lee will still beat every single one of them. Let's talk about Stardom. Let's talk about the 5-star Grand Prix finale. Of course, took place yesterday, Saturday, 9/30/2023. And it was an interesting one here. It was a very interesting one, of course. I think we'll talk about the finals, and there's not really, I guess, a lot to talk about in the A block or the B block other than the matches maybe themselves, because the finals were, of course, between Suzu Suzuki and Maika, with Suzu Suzuki not wrestling other than the Battle Royal, but not wrestling really her way into the finals, per se.
Hey, she had to win all the other matches.
That is true. That is certainly true. But she didn't have to win on this night, per se, against Maika, who won her match against Mirai earlier in the night.
Through Mirai.
Of course, which that was a hard-fought battle if I've ever seen one. And then we, of course...
Yeah, that was beef.
And, of course, Suzu Suzuki fully getting the win here. And she is your new 5-star Grand Prix champion. So congratulations to her. What do you think about the final match? And what do you think about what this means for Stardom going forward?
Yeah, lots to dissect here. Obviously, losing out on Julia versus Tommy, Saya versus Suzu, and Mai versus Starlight Kid, all due to injury. Big major hit to the final show. Those I think going into the night when the tournament was announced were probably the top 3 most anticipated. So that obviously hurt. However, Stardom is very good at putting things together and making up for, what they missed out on. And to me, they did probably the best they could. There's been a lot of discussion about the winner of the final, especially now because Suzu is not challenging at Stardom Dream Kingdom. She is instead challenging at Gold Rush in Osaka the month before. And to me, that is them getting the match they probably wanted for Stardom Dream Kingdom and moving this up instead.
Yeah, I thought that was a wild decision. I don't know if I feel good about that decision. Honestly.
Yeah, so there's a few ways I look at this. One is that so many injuries happened to them that it's like at a certain point, how do you decide this? Like, I had thought Tam might win the tournament just for that reason, so they could get back on track.
Agreed.
But instead, they gave the accolade to someone who is now propelled into the main event level and locked in. And a lot of people can look at this in one way of, well, she's not getting the big championship match. But the way I look at it is they gave the ball to Suzu Suzuki at the age of 21. That is something they don't really do. Like Azumi, Starlight Kid, that while they are the future and they've had main event spots, they are not main eventers yet. They're not at that level yet. They are clearly, especially Starlight Kid this year, been pushed down the card for the most part. Hey, we'll push you down the road and then you'll come back up. Suzuki's not in that scenario anymore.
No.
you have now established her as a top dog moving forward. Not and 2 years in a row. Last year, she was a win within making the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And she won't even sign with the company. She signs on the dotted line. And when I said if she signs on the dotted line, she will be one of their top dogs. She is a generational talent for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't pass that up. So I thought giving her the Grand Prix was smart because, listen, here's the fact. She's going to win all the belts. May not happen right off the bat, but she's going to win majority of the belts. She's already won, world titles outside of Stardom before signing with them, and she didn't sign with them until she was 20 years old. So that tells you all you need to know about how she's viewed as in the overall scene. The Osaka match is a letdown just because I would have liked to see Suzu get that big match, but that tells me that Saya Kamitani's probably ready by Queendom, because I don't think they announced that until they know where she's at, because that was the original, rumored to be the original plan, Tam versus Saya, and that looks to be the original, the continued plan, because I think if Saya is not going to be able to make it to Queendom, you just do Tam and Suzu, but since she is, you do this, you get back on track to what you wanted to do, because I think Suzu is going to have the Gold Rush match no matter what, because she beat Tam in the tournament. But instead they said, oh, you know what? We'll give her this accolade. We tell everyone, like, you should be paying attention to her in this company. So instead of being in the level of, right, like Micah, Momo, like the higher mid card, she is now again a main eventer, which is a very, very elite class. Like, that is Tam, Julia, Tam, Julia, Mayu, and like Shuri. They're like another class. But then it's like Utami, I guess Mirai, because she's Wonder Champion and she's won 2 Cinderellas. Looking at the roster here, yeah, Natsupoi is like more mid, the higher mid card as well. But it's a way to get her to that next main event level, I guess, with those 2 top dogs that I was talking about, rather than having her down there with, again, Hazuki, Micah, so on.
Yeah, I I agree with what you're saying about, like, there are, if they wanted to push anyone, why not give it to Suzuki? You are already kind of establishing her as a big deal at a young age, so why not give her this accolade at this point to get her to that point. The Gold Rush announcement and not the Wrestle Queendom announcement, I think is a disappointment to me.
I agree.
I kind of push back on her being like a full on main event star, because I think, to me, it's like it is either, or it could be all of these things, I guess, as well. That Saya Kamitani will be ready to go, and that, by Wrestle Queendom, and so that's the plan, and we're sticking with it, and that's within their right to do it. But to change how the 5-star has been working the past couple of years, just to push to continue that plan, I am not a big fan of that, because to me, I read this as Suzuki is just going to lose at Gold Rush, and then Tam Nakano goes on and gets challenged by Saya Kamitani for Wrestle Queendom. And that also tells me that as much as they give Suzuki this accolade, I don't necessarily think they see her as a big show main eventer yet. I think they can see her as a main eventer on these like smaller shows, but I don't think they necessarily see her as like they don't see her as a Wrestle Queendom main event. They could have easily switched it and stuck with the tradition that they've been sort of establishing, and gone with her for Wrestle Queendom and done and just delayed Saya Kamitani presumably winning the title down the line. But instead they pushed up Suzuki to Gold Rush. I'm not a fan of that. It reads totally as like and another reason why I'm not a fan of that is because it totally reads to me as what they've been doing the past couple years, which seems to have been the champion, the 5-star winner wins, the 5-star person wins the 5-star, goes on the Wrestle Kingdom and wins the title. And that feels like that's what the plan was for Saya Kamitani, and that feels like that's what they're going to do, and they've done that for like the past 3 years at this point.
Yeah,
and I don't like that. And I said it last year when they did it. When they did it again, and Julia won the title, I was just like, great, I'm okay with that. Let's can we do something else though with how Wrestle Kingdom main event's coming about? And I think they could have done something interesting with Suzuki. Whether or not they put the title on her, I think it would have been okay if they did Wrestle Kingdom and for Suzuki to lose. I think it's totally okay. She's still very young. She doesn't necessarily need to win it there. But I don't know. I think changing up the tradition and doing all these things at this point, I'm just not. I don't necessarily like it, and I think they have confidence in Suzuki, but it's like they rather go with the plan than to make an even bigger star out of her right now, and I'm unsure about that because it's we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens.
So I understand where you're coming from, and I thought when they said Saya that Saya was gonna lose, like when that rumor was made, like I was like, oh, she's gonna lose because I don't know if you go right back to her with the title, which is still very possible. That she can lose.
That's also a great point. If Saya just returns for Wrestle Kingdom and then loses, then what was the whole point of any of this?
Right. It's it's a weird scenario because the thing I will say is there was a lot of the talk yesterday was more about Micah losing than anything else. And
we can talk about Micah as well.
I think the situation for me here is that and I looked at this multiple ways. I looked at this in the way of Micah, I look at this in the way of Dream Queendom, and I look at this the way for Suzu. For Suzu, she's wrestling. She's going to main event the show, and this isn't Dream Queendom. It's not their biggest show of the year, so I understand. But she will be main eventing the same show that last year had Saya versus Kairi and Shuri versus Utami, which is a major show. It's
Agreed.
It's not the show. I think that for me is also the problem.
It's not the show, and it's getting rid of a tradition that they've been establishing for the past couple of years.
Right. Yeah. It's a tradition that while has only lasted 2 years, it's now the expectation.
Yes.
Right. And
they're throwing it away just to
if they just swerved us and Suzu just won the belt,
I'll be down with that.
I don't think anyone would complain. Again, I think it would be worse if someone else won, actually.
The 5-star or
the 5-star?
Okay.
Because Suzu's 21. Like this is just like, all right, she's gonna be, she's destined for greatness now.
Yeah.
If this was Micah, I think people would be even more upset. Like, I know she would have got a big win finally.
Yeah.
But to me, it would have said a lot more of, we don't see her in that spot. And that's the whole reason I wasn't picking Micah to win, because I didn't see her in that spot. Yeah. I think a lot of the people that they see in that spot either weren't in contention anymore or hurt.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, all right, what are we going to do? And I think
and like I said, Suzu can win the 5-star and still lose the World of Stardom title, and that should be totally fine. If Micah won the 5-star and then lost the title, I think more people's hands will have their hands.
I think a lot of people in the moment wanted Micah to win because she hasn't got a big win. She's come so close so many times and she hasn't got it. But I thought about it. I was like, I don't know. Do you really want to see her lose another title match?
That's true.
Because I don't know if she's ever going to get a title. I think she gets a Wonder Belt or something. I just think she's too good not to, especially after beating Mirai. To me, that's a big deal. Same. I pitched this. I was like, 1, Suzu gets to the final, she can't lose because she didn't really wrestle a match before. And 2, if Micah gets to the final, she already beat the Wonder of Stardom champion. She comes close in the end. It's good for her.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I fully think Micah Mirai is, assuming Mirai makes it, I fully think that's the Wrestle Kingdom title match.
I do too, and I think that's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great way to go. Ultimately, I'm still upset that Suzu doesn't get the Queen in the main event, but I am happy that she won the Grand Prix. You know, like
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. It's like, as a big Suzu fan that I am, there are more positives still to take out of it. It's
agreed.
just she's very much more likely, I think, to main event next year with or
Sure,
without the Queendom thing.
sure.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
because she could be champion by then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it still stinks because I would have liked to see her in that spot. But I always bring up with Tam, if she's losing year end, maybe there's a time limit on her. There's always a possible time limit with Tam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when she got the world title, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, is this like a last hurrah?" And then she rides off into the sunset. Very possible. She's teased retirement 27 times, which real wrestler. But I think that's a possibility. And the Saya match, they have a natural story for that to make it work,
Yeah.
right? She got hurt against Tam opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Easy, you just set that up. But there's a lot of good and bad. The good is Suzu gets the win. Suzu's 5-star Grand Prix winner, which is huge for her. She's in the main story of the company right now, which is the relationship between her, Julia, and Micah.
Yep.
I think within the next year, Julia and Suzu are probably like tag champs. Like, I think the idea is pairing Suzu with Julia on screen because that's how you make her an even bigger star,
Mm-hmm.
which not a bad scenario to be in, is being paired with Julia, and their previous relationship is probably something they want to do. But overall, the final night was solid. I think Micah was the star of the night, even with the Suzu win. And I hope Micah does get her moment now, because I think her beating Mariah would be a very fitting spot for her. And I think
Yeah.
she's awesome. She's awesome. I mean, I was amped when Suzu won. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was pumping the fist. I was like, this is the best. Like, because I had decided before the show even started that my favorite wrestler wasn't winning. I was like, she's probably not winning.
Yeah.
So, and then she did, and I was like, oh, okay, sweet. But yeah, the thing is, they have a lot of people too that are ready for big spots, and I
Yeah.
think we're gonna see a lot of difference in the next week. Like, they have a pay-per-view next Monday. Everyone has a show next Monday. It's a holiday.
I was
I
about to say.
understand that,
I was about to say. I'm pretty sure it's a holiday, right?
but it's a pain in the ass. Like, everyone having a pay-per-view on Monday
Yeah.
makes our show difficult.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because then you get the scorching cold takes.
that is true. We will have scorching cold takes on Destruction and Ryogoku.
We're gonna have to wait a week to talk about Yu Uemura.
Probably. Or Katsuhiko Nakajima.
Or just like
Mariah May.
Yeah. There's a lot that we'll miss out on. I will say, just before we move on from Stardom had a Corkin show today. They're back to the mask gimmick. The remasked wrestlers showed up.
I saw that and I was just like, again, we're doing mask gimmicks?
So when I saw it, I said, oh, it is that time of the year where we're gonna have probably new signees join.
Sure.
And my idea is why they're doing it again is because maybe those wrestlers haven't left their company yet. or have not arrived yet.
Okay.
Which is very possible.
So we're talking
because
Dana Brooke. We're talking who else?
I saw multiple people joke about that.
Who else is on that 90-day? Aaliyah. Aaliyah, everyone's favorite Aaliyah. Aaliyah would be so bad in Stardom, but I would love just to see Aaliyah do a Stardom tour just to see if she gets any better by the end of it.
Those tours do a lot of good.
I was going to say, you have to think she'll get better at the end of it.
Britt Baker didn't. Brandy Rhodes didn't.
No. Well, some people have the talent.
Some people just aren't built
and
for it.
Some people are Aaliyah.
Yeah, this I don't know who it's gonna be. They also have a Halloween show at the end of the year, end of the month, so that also could just be the reason.
Sure. I don't know. I'm sort of as someone who is more of a casual Stardom watcher than you are, obviously. the year after year repeated stories that I'm starting to notice
With the
are
mask,
the mask,
and the
the
GP.
champion winning and just winning the title at the Wrestle Kingdom. I'm starting to get frustrated over the booking from old Hat Man, and I'm like, come on, man, let's do something
Changed it up a
else.
lot this year, but we
Yeah,
had to fall back. We had to fall back on some old old favorites.
yeah.
It's too
You're
good to be
right.
true.
You're right. They have done new things for sure, but there are things where I'm like, come on, Rossi, just something else. Can we not do this?
My problem is all the changes have been Tam.
I
I'm like,
agree. I
come
know.
on.
I know.
At least
Uh,
I got Suzu as the GP winner. That was like the one change, and I was like, all right, that was for me. Thank you.
yeah,
Everything else is goddamn Tam Nakano.
that's fair. That is completely fair. Well, let's move on and talk about. I mean, well, hold on. Before we go, did you have any other thoughts about this final night, or did you have any thoughts about the rest of the 5-star? Do you think it was a good one? Do you think it was a bad one? Do you think it was hashtag cursed?
Uh, it was a very strong tournament for them. It's unfortunately the injuries piled up to take away from a lot of it, I think, for people, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Losing out on Saya right off the rip was
Definitely was
brutal. Like
bad.
that killed so many big matches. Like that killed so many big matches. It was such a freak injury too, because like the way you watch her land, it was like, what?
Yeah,
It's like Utami getting hurt killed the final day. Starlight Kid getting hurt. She fought through it as much as she could. Um, but for a tournament that had all those ups and downs, they did a really good job. The roster did. I think next year there's going to be a lot of changes based off of this year, in terms, at least in terms of just trying to ease up on injuries.
yeah,
Because last year they had so many more matches, but no one got hurt.
yeah.
Which is like, how did that happen? 2 years ago, when they had the 20 person field, Julia got hurt. So there's just like some weird thing going on here.
Well,
And
injuries
I hope that
happen, of course, obviously.
they do. It's just like, it's weird that when they have like 157 matches, no one gets hurt other than like, get bandaged up. This, and then, the 2 years that they're not, people do get hurt. But
I know, like
yeah,
I know, like Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer, he sort of mentioned, and kind of true, kind of not true, I think, but he sort of mentioned that, like, they still did like weekend shows every single weekend for months for the
yeah,
Stardom 5-star, but then they also had, I think, like a week in August, and then yeah, like a week in August, and then this or a week in September, practically, where they had just like basically a full week of wrestling.
yeah,
And he,
yeah.
he he sort of mentioned that, like, just them working that Stardom hard hitting style, he wonders if that's, and working that many days and changing that
Yeah.
schedule sort of around, if that sort of played into the injuries.
The beauty of the tournament is that they didn't have many off nights. Like, a lot of them gave their top effort. The bad part about the tournament is that they didn't have a lot of off nights. So so like, because I remember like when Mariah May was in it, everyone was like, "Oh, like that's gonna be the night that they like take off the wrestlers." They did not take off
No,
those nights. They
no.
did not. Like, Mariah May hit power bombs onto the floor on them. They could not take those nights off. So
And,
it's like,
and Mariah May
maybe
is
that's
coming
what you
into
fuse
it.
in.
And Mariah May is coming into it because she knows that's their last tour.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. So yeah, there's different things to change up. I'm looking forward to what they do change next year, because I do think the 3 injuries will make them change something. Like the 3 injuries to 3 major talents.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Saya, Utami, and Starlight Kid, that is tough. And um hopefully they're all back by the end of the year. I think Starlight Kid said it was her ankle. It just, started to be rough. And thankfully most of these are all rest
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
which is nice. If it's rest, you got off easy. But that's kind of the way I look at it all. There's a lot to go throughout the rest of the year now for them. They have a lot of interesting ways to go. They have more than just the world title picture, which has been my main complaint this year, anyways. Um, Hasn't been a perfect year, but at the same time, for Stardom, after the past 2 years, they were never going to top those.
Yeah, I I still always go back to the Triangle Derby or starting this year being a bad start to the year.
Yeah, it was a tough start. I think they're
Ice
better
cold,
off.
ice cold that Triangle Derby.
Oh yeah, the final of that tournament was so good, but it's like no one remembers a single thing
No.
from the first 3 months because of that thing. So I do wonder if they bring it back or not. I'm hoping not.
Same.
Susan won that too, though. Just saying.
That's true. That is true.
Won 2 tournaments in a year.
She's a tournament winner.
And she was only signed for 5 months of it.
That's probably true. That's
pretty crazy. So good for her. That's the big takeaway for everyone. Just know that Suzu's on her way. You know, I think that's my biggest takeaway. The Grand Prix winners in order are Utami, Shuri, Julia, and now Suzu Suzuki.
That's pretty good.
Don't take that lightly.
It's pretty good. Yeah, no,
Suzu's gonna have 2.
Yeah, my whole point of the thing was like it's a massive thing to put on her resume. It's like
not the biggest thing because she's now not main eventing.
Yeah,
also
actively changing the tradition you've sort of been establishing. To me, is sort of like it tells me kind of what the finish of the Gold Rush thing, who's going to win that one, and it tells me that they
they do it to throw us off and Suzu wins though.
I'll pop big.
I'll be like, all right, Rossi, I knew you were nuts, buddy.
Hats off to the Hat Man himself.
Mostly because I'm going to go into it not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the whole thing.
If that's his ultimate curveball, and he heard, he just heard you complain. Oh, they always lose a queendom. Fine, screw you. I'll do it a month earlier.
I'll pop so big for that if that was the case.
That'd be so funny.
But personally, I doubt it. We'll see what happens.
No, I doubt it too. I won't get my hopes up, but if that happens, then that'd be the best thing ever.
Yeah. He does listen to the show, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not mistaken.
Of course.
Everyone does.
What do we got next?
All of our
NXT.
All of our radio heads. Let's talk about NXT No Mercy. That's right. We're
back on the NXT train, boys.
we had such a low a low week this week, and we just both happened to watch NXT last night live. Now you and I just decided, especially after the last 2 matches, you and I just decided, all right, let's put it on the board. Because if we went to Fastlane right now, we are an hour and 12 minutes in, and Fastlane's only 4 matches so far. We
would have had to do hardcore discussion topics.
Which, we have discussion topics, of course, to talk about, and I think our fans would enjoy that.
And we already tried to talk about what we would call you people.
Yeah.
The ring posters,
the ringies, the posties,
the ringer posters,
the posties is of course our award show. The radio heads, of course. The RPRs. No, I don't like that. That actually is really bad now that I think about it. That's really bad. Let's move on. NXT No Mercy review. Let's talk about NXT No Mercy. Out of Bakersfield, California, the Mechanics Bank, a bank full of mechanics arena. What'd you think about the show overall? Are we back fully on board NXT? Are we covering these NXT PLEs moving forward for the rest of 2023, which will probably just be one?
You know, it's funny. I started watching their TV. Like I would watch some of their matches. Not the whole show. God, no. Can't watch their terrible skits. Never, ever. However, they've started to get back into the work ratey matches, on a week-to-week basis. So I watched Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate.
The Global Heritage Cup helped. The Global Heritage.
Yeah, I watched Dragunov versus Wesley a few weeks ago. They got something going back there. So when I saw the takeovers coming up, I was like, or whatever they call it now, just NXT. NXT No Mercy. I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And I think there's stuff to like about NXT moving forward. I mean, by the end of the show, there was surely something to like with the new champion. But I'm not gonna say I'm back, but I'm definitely at least more so considering it. Which
it's arm's length, not
yeah. So like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be here for Deadline, baby. But I'm gonna be like,
well,
I could.
What's that? Iron Survivor matches return? Yeah, baby.
Yeah. I remember the one of them were good last year.
I have no memories of those matches in any capacity.
They're kind of crazy because like none of them made sense. But I'm a big fan of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well,
it stuck.
I guess it stuck.
But it stunk? Baron Corbin versus Braun Breaker.
There we go.
That stunk.
That's how we turn into it. Baron Corbin, Braun Breaker open up the show. What are some do you think Baron Corbin knows who Ghost Rider is? That was the question I posed to Twitter last night. Or do you think he just thinks motorcycles and fire skulls are cool? I try to put it together, piece it together myself. I think the only way he knows who Ghost Rider is that, and I don't know this to be true, but I just feel like Baron Corbin's a big Nicolas Cage fan, and I think that's the only way he knows who Ghost Rider is.
Have you considered burn the ships?
What the fuck is burn the ships? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. That's his saying.
Is it?
It said it on his shirt. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
They said it during the match. I was like, I don't know what that means. Why are you bringing that up? What are you talking about, man?
You could be like, no, you burn the ships. Leave me alone.
I don't know. The only other thing I have to say about this match is the commentary.
Oh my god.
Number one,
Alpha
intensity. He's got AI, and I'm not talking about artificial intelligence. I'm talking about alpha intensity. Such a ham-fisted, no reason to make that reference in any capacity. That like trying to be like Mauro Ranallo, just not reaching the par. Vic Joseph, what are you doing? Lay off the candy, by the way. So many Starburst rappers on that commentary desk. And
oh my god, I was thinking about that too. When they take the thing off, I was like, he's got to be a little embarrassed, right? He's got to be a little embarrassed.
So many
this guy's just got a slew of candy on his goddamn desk. And I was like, dude, this is all you eat?
Like, that is not...
I mean, I guess you can't eat it all, but
Look, man, I work in the film industry. We got Crafty and everything. Crafty
mac and cheese?
No. Crafty is the table of food and snacks that are laid out on set, right?
I believe that's called catering.
No, catering are the actual meals. Crafty is just the snacks. There's a distinct difference. Two different departments. You pay them differently.
I'm opening a company that's called Just the Snacks.
I'm in. I want fierce $15 million for 25%. That's Shark Tank, baby. So the number one thing I've learned about Crafty is you should not be feeding anyone candy at all, because it's just like fake sugar, and you're not gonna get any energy from it. Meanwhile, Vic Joseph, down in these Skittles, peanut M&Ms, Starburst, just downing these suckers, which I think is another type.
No,
he
wasn't sucking them. He was sorry.
Well, you never know. You never know with this guy. But it was just like, come on, man. This isn't healthy. This isn't going to give you actual any energy for the show. You shouldn't be doing it. And I know the catering's better backstage because that's the only thing anyone talks about backstage. Vic Joseph, that's my take. And anyways, any other thoughts on Baron Corbin, Braun Breaker?
Baron Corbin won. That was pretty dumb.
The crowd was super into Baron Corbin, I gotta say.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Braun Breaker? I messaged you a few times during the match. I was like, he'd be so sick if like this current version of him would just left and went to New Japan or something. Because like he has the makeup now to like go
literally.
and just like
quite literally
take the next steps elsewhere.
Yeah,
he'd be so sick because he was doing like topes and crazy shit.
he started the match
like,
off of a tope con hilo.
I was like, this guy's humongous, like,
yeah,
or feels like he's a big dude, and he's just like flying through the air.
Yeah,
he has a nice spear too, so I don't know. I could see him just be like pretty sick elsewhere.
That brings up such an interesting
or
idea.
Not against Baron Corbin. Maybe that also would help.
That's also true. It's such an interesting idea of like Braun Breaker to the main roster. I still can never believe any single person was suggesting Braun Breaker was the guy that beats Roman Reigns for the titles. I remember that was a thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see what Braun Breaker's ceiling is on the WWE main roster at all. I fully do not have any understanding of what
doesn't have a ceiling.
He's just gonna break through it or kick through it or whatever the hell. He's
just gonna break her through it.
I really don't see him as a world champion in the main roster. But there is that idea of like, if he left NXT right now, if like someone went to NXT, created a name for themselves, got established, right? And then went off and then just like left NXT and went to like AEW, New Japan, or some other place and like really developed and then come back to the main roster, with such a bigger price tag or whatever. That seems like such a good idea.
You don't think he'll win the world title?
I don't think so.
I think he'll absolutely win the world title.
Definitely not beat Roman Reigns like people were suggesting.
Well, no, but no one beats Roman Reigns. Come on.
No.
Come on.
If Cody
he
can't
beat
do it.
Seth Rollins. That title doesn't matter. There's two again, buddy. He can be world champion.
I just don't think Vince McMahon will enjoy Braun Breaker.
Listen, by the time Braun Breaker gets up there, Vince will be... Never mind.
Have more power in TKO somehow.
You know what? I hate that you're right.
No, let's move on from Braun Breaker. NXT North American.
I know we talked about that match way too long.
Way too long.
I didn't have that many thoughts on that.
No, I think it was very apparent. Neither did I. NXT North American title match of special guest referee, the bump of the night, Dragon Lee, of course. Trick Williams defeats Dominic Mysterio to win the title. We got to talk about Dragon Lee here.
That trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
We got to talk about Dragon Lee here.
That trick.
Bump of the night.
That trick.
Okay. All right. All right. Dragon Lee, bump of the night. Talking about maximizing your minutes. This guy goes out here, just kind of stands around the ring, doesn't really do anything, does a couple counts, I think, takes one super kick, and it's the best sell maybe on the entire show. I think Ilya Dragunov's the only guy that can really fight him on that one. But just an unbelievable sell job from Dragon Lee. So unnecessary and so perfect that it was fantastic. Scotty, do you have any thoughts about this match?
Trick Williams is going to be the guy.
Yeah. That's a ceiling I can look at. That's a ceiling I see.
Yeah. Like based off of what I saw last night, I think he and Julius Creed have the highest ceiling among the men.
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe
Julius
that.
Creed needs to figure out like the promo stuff, but Julius Creed's a freak. He's a freak. Like I watched that guy, I was like, yeah, you put him in New Japan tomorrow, he's having like a 4.5-star match with Will Ospreay just because. Like that would be sick. It would just be a sick match.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be organized at all, but that's okay. Like I think that's the beauty of the Creeds. Like they're so much more like the Steiners.
Yes.
Like they 100%. Are more
100%.
present day Steiner. But like he, like I saw Brutus, who's like the shorter, stocky one. He did like a 450 springboard a while ago, and I was like, excuse me? You did that?
I'm sorry?
I'm like, but with Trick has the inside track. He's already got the charisma down.
Yeah.
He's just got to figure out the wrestling. And he looks like a guy that just throws. I said this to you. I was like, I kind of like that he just throws things out there, sees what sticks. He's just like throwing these punches and drop kicks. And I'm like, he is so unorganized. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, he's a guy that fully has the crowd behind him, fully crowd investment.
You want me to say it again? Whoa, that trick.
I really set you up for that, and I really should.
I don't even know what that means.
He fully has the charisma down. If he just fine tunes his moves and clean them up and make them a little bit better, if he just fine tunes that, and if he works on his selling, which I think the selling. I don't want to say that Dragon Lee had the best sell of this match, but he undoubtedly did. If he just works on his selling, then I think he is sky's the limit, right? I think it is unbelievable.
Not everyone can be as good as Dominic Mysterio. Okay,
hold on. What do you mean by that? What the hell do you mean by? What do you mean that not anyone can be as good as Dominic? He lost. Dominic Mysterio lost. What do you mean Dominic Mysterio is good?
He got cheated. The belt hit his face.
Is that what the bruise was, or whatever was on his face before?
No, he had that way before. Because his match with Dragon Lee on Raw was great.
Was it?
It was. I don't know about great, but it was really good. He had a very good showing. He didn't mess up at all. And Dragon Lee's Dragon Lee. I'll say the one thing great about Dragon Lee is he's pretty much taking the Rey Mysterio road of I'm going to change very little about myself, but it's going to be more control for WWE, and it's going to work because I'm a freak. He does the Destino as a finisher. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love him. But Dominic Mysterio is growing on me a little bit, Ryan.
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean?
He's getting better in the ring. That was the main problem for me with Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom, baby. Dirty Dom's starting to cook. You watch out. If Dirty Dom could start wrestling in the ring. Uh-oh.
If he starts wrestling you hear yourself.
Well, wrestling well. He said chicken tendies on TV the other day. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. He said chicken tendies. This is the NXT review, folks.
Is this a bit?
You're welcome.
You're fully. Are you on the? Dirty...
I didn't say fully. I'm getting there though.
And you're basing that off.
I got Dirty Dom.
And to be clear, you're basing that off of a. Let me read the transcript of this podcast so far. You're basing that off of a Dragon Lee match.
Yes. You
know who's in the ring with, right?
Hey, takes two to tango, bud.
Yeah, okay. And then a couple of nights later, we see him versus Trick Williams. Was he?
Okay. No. Trick Williams is very inexperienced.
All right.
I think Trick Williams. How many matches did Trick Williams have to his name?
Let's see. I got the cage match pulled right here. Trick Williams.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that. That's my new thing.
Trick Williams, 29 years old, by the way. Not a spring chicken by NXT standards. This was
time to push him as fast as possible.
This is his 68th match. So officially his next match will be his 69th.
Nice. We have fallen off the bridge here. Why are we still talking about this? Because of Dirty Dom?
Yes, because your Dirty Dom takes.
I'm Dirty Dom. Instead of I'm Dirty Dan.
He has to do that. I will be on the Dirty Dom.
You will be on the.
If he says I'm Dirty Dom.
We're gonna be Dom. I can feel it. Can you feel it? Dirty Dom becoming the new member of the Evil Muto Club. I can feel it. It's an elite club, you don't just get there. If he says I'm Dirty Dom, we're there.
If he's Dirty Dom, who in that case is his pinhead Larry?
Finn Balor.
I was gonna say JD McDonough. NXT.
No, that's Big Head Larry.
Good point. NXT Tag Team Title 4-way match. The Family, Channing Lorenzo and Tony D'Angelo, are able to defeat the team of Angel Gazzara Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, the Creed brothers, and of course, Out the Mud.
Out the mud, boy.
Out the Mud. So this match I thought was pretty good. I thought that 4-way superplex spot was like straight out of like a PWG thing. I popped when indie darling Biff Music showed up, reminding me of how upset about his previous indie run was, and how that ended. I'll say this though, as a negative, Out the Mud. My apologies.
Need to get back in the mud. Am I right or am I right?
They're nothing. They are not anything. My apologies to looks at words, Bronco Nima and Lucian Price.
Yeah.
I've never seen faker names in my life. You gotta be Channing Lorenzo, Bronco Nima. What are we doing?
One of them reminded me way too much of Dabo Kato or Babatunde, whichever you prefer. Commander Aziz.
Thank you.
For the former SmackDown.
We have to salute. We have to salute our soldiers, of course.
Yeah. One of them was like, I was like, this guy looks way too much like him. Yeah, they stunk. They got nothing. But the Creeds got like all the potential, so it's fine.
Creeds are so good.
Tony D'Angelo's kind of good.
Tony D'Angelo, well, he did the whole story gimmick right here, so he goes
like when he got back in there, he hit some nice moves.
Tony D'Angelo, I texted this to you. He feels like such an artifact of an old NXT that didn't stop existing until like I don't know April of this year. You know what I mean? Like he feels so out of time, out of place. It's so wild. It's so wild. I thought the Creeds ruled here. I thought Garza and Carrillo bringing back the old Wolves makeup. I thought that was pretty good.
They're really good.
Yeah, they're very good. And I think the Creeds rule, dude. I just push the Creeds. That's all we're talking about. That's all I'm asking for. They should be dominating this tag team division. I don't understand why they're like playing second fiddle to the family. The Creed should be dominating, nonstop, just destroying people. But I'll take it. I'll certainly take it. I guess it was pretty good. Out the Mud, they're nothing. Garza and Humberto, the Creed brothers rule, and then they told a whole story of Channing Lorenzo and Tony D'Angelo. So I'll take it. I thought it was pretty good. How you doing? It was way better than I expected. I think on paper.
Yeah, Creed's are beasts. That's about all I got. Like Julius and Brutus, those are the guys.
100%. NXT.
Whoop,
that Creed? NXT Heritage Cup title match.
I love that.
Noam Dar defeats Butch in 2-1 in round number 6.
We can't be doing rounds anymore. The only time these worked for me as a viewer was in the empty like studio of NXT UK because like you could hear them talk and stuff like that. It was like it was a different thing. Don't do it now. The stopping just stops it just stops the energy in the arena.
Yeah, I don't think I really don't think British rounds work in America. I've said that for a while now. I don't think these necessarily work.
Breaking news: British something doesn't work in America.
I also think beyond that, I mean, I think there have been good British round. The Dragon Lee Noam Dar one was pretty good as well.
Well, hey, you talk shit to me about Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. It was Dragon Lee.
I didn't talk shit about Dragon Lee in that situation.
No. I said Dirty Dom looked nice the other day. Might have had the best match of his career, and you're like, wow, he did it against Dragon Lee. So no, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
And Noam Dar and Dragon Lee was also so great at being a wrestler that he made the British rounds and the Heritage Cup title in NXT work. Unlike Butch, a British man. That's right.
Like Butch, British boy.
That's right. You gotta bring British rounds over to Goddamn CMLL, which is practically what they do already with these 2 out of 3 falls matches. And yeah, you gotta do that stuff. You can't get them out of here. Get them out of Britain. Bring them all over to Mexico. That's what we gotta do. It works. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is this match didn't quite work for me. It was just kind of too plotting and boring.
You ready for my hot take? Wait, never mind. We're not there yet.
You already said something about Dirty Dom, so
that wasn't a hot take. I'm Dirty Dom. This is gonna be a bit from now on. That's why Ryan's huff and puffs.
Is that our fans, the Dirty Doms? Every single one of them.
I'm gonna give you a Dirty Dom update of the week.
I would love that. I would love that as an ongoer. I also think our fans should be the Dirty Doms, and so every single one of them goes up to us, goes up to us and says, "I'm Dirty Dom."
Or you see them in the chat. There's Dirty Dom.
Oh man, that'd be good. We got the Dirty Doms and the Pinhead Larrys.
Dirty Doms in the building.
NXT title match: Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. You want to get the floor first and talk about how fantastic of a match this was?
Yeah, this is like watching old school NXT from way back in the day. Or just like any Dragunov big match ever. Yeah. He's insane. Yeah. Like, he is an insane pro wrestler. He is so good. I desperately hope that when he is called up, they do the same thing that they did to him that they did with Gunther. Right? Like, they just let him be the same. Let him be the Russian psycho that he is. Let him just go out there and kick ass and do his weird, like, music thing with his arms. Just keep doing all that, because you know why I know I'm going to watch NXT now? Because he's their champion. I'm not going to miss a Dragunov match. He had a really good match a few weeks ago with Trick Williams. This dude can't miss. He gave Carmelo Hayes the best match of his career, a perfect match for Carmelo Hayes to lose the title in. This was fantastic. It was a fantastic match. Like, 4.25. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's not just happening, Like, that's not just happening in WWE, let alone NXT these days.
Mm-hmm.
But Ilya Dragunov, I feel like every time I see him, it pretty much has to, or at least you expect greatness, and that is what he did. He's world champion now. I can't wait to see who they give him. If they do Dragunov and Dragon Lee, oh my god, that isn't even like old school NXT. That's like the best thing ever.
Oh my god, that'd actually be great.
But I think Dragon Lee did way too good in his Raw debut. He might get called up soon.
Yeah,
like, he's wrestling on SmackDown next week, and I was like, oh shit. Not
a spoiler, but I believe for FASTLANE, there's a 6-man tag with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus LWO, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and a partner of their choosing. Of course, it could be Joaquin Wilde or Cruz del Toro, but I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be somebody else.
That's gonna be a really good trios match.
Oh, especially if Dragon Lee's in there.
Oh yeah, assuming Dragon Lee's in.
Yeah, this match ruled. Ilya Dragunov is the best wrestler in WWE today. I'll say it. Best wrestler. Better than Gunther. Better than Roman Reigns.
All right. Well, the hot take was only Gunther. Like, everything else, I'm like, yeah,
Better than Cody Rhodes. Better than Brock Lesnar, if you can believe it. Better than Cena. Better than Rock. Better than Dirty Dom. The best wrestler.
I'll go as far as saying this. Mm-hmm. This was my take that I told you. The best of, like, the British scene officially, to me, and this isn't all from England.
Yeah, what the best of that have come out of the British scene, the rubble of the British scene. Yeah,
over the past decade, it is Ospreay, Zach, Sabre Jr., Walter / Gunther, and Ilya Dragunov. That is the 4.
Yeah, the 4 pillars.
Anyone else, you're lying.
The 4 pillars, if you will.
What a letdown by Tyler Bate. He had a spot nice and cozy for him, all pampered, and he just dropped the ball.
He's 26 years old.
That's insane. He still has so much
Tyler Bate is
career left.
Tyler Bate is 26 years old, and he's done nothing. He hasn't done anything in years. Ilya Dragunov is 29. So good.
He's only 29?
Only 29.
Oh my God. Dude, that's insane.
Great. Assuming WWE does not do anything with him when he gets called up. By the way, I think when he gets called up, I don't know when, maybe
you just put him and Gunther in there and they just slap meat. Oh.
I'll go so far as to say he should be the one that beats Gunther.
Amen, brother.
Why not? Make a star.
Him winning the NXT title probably stops that. But I'm in agreement. If they just keep letting him ride.
Well, just have Gunther keep winning and then call him up at the next draft. He can lose the NXT title at some point or whatever. Call him up. He can be on the main roster for a little bit. The feud with Gunther. Beat the title. That match is going to be great too.
I'm in.
He's on his way. I think he's on his way. He is fantastic. Incredible seller. Incredible. And Carmelo Hayes, I think, held his own too. Nothing.
I like Carmelo Hayes. I just like him. Like, he's a very likable guy. Also, you know why I love Dragunov? He said his favorite city is Boston.
Ooh.
That's my guy. I was like, Dragunov, you are my guy, man. I was like, that was the first thing of a good week.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I think if WWE was smart, and they're not, so mind this, Dragunov would be a future world champion, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I just think like he nails his character of being like a psycho who just is so desperate to win. And he's a really good underdog against bigger guys.
Yeah.
See matches versus Gunther.
Yeah.
Some of the best matches in WWE history are those two matches. So
he's great.
There you go. One of them happened in an empty building.
He's great. He had a 5-star match in an empty building.
What a stud.
Unbelievable. Main event, NXT Women's Title and Extreme Rules match. Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton. I thought that Tiffany Stratton did way more at extreme spots than I was fully expecting. Like,
Is she her?
She might be. I think she is. She fully committed to this match. Fully committed. Fully did not expect it. Not one bit. And I don't see this kind of Extreme Rules work out of any other person in NXT right now, especially the women's division. Especially the women's division. We all saw that Roxy Blair Davenport match. Tiffany Stratton, above and beyond what I thought she was going to do. Fantastic effort. Fantastic work. Becky Lynch ruled. Got her through a really great match. I had some tiny issues. I think I would have loved I think the frantic pace was great. I would have loved for it just to be a little bit slower so that we can, instead of immediately getting up from something and walking into the next spot,
digest a little. Yeah,
it helped hide the lack of selling, but by doing so, it got rid of the selling altogether. And so I didn't really enjoy that. And then the back handstand, back elbow, handspring gimmick into the broken barricade, I thought was ridiculous and laughable, and that took me out of the match. But other than those things, the match was really, really good. Tiffany just blew me away in this match. And Becky Lynch, of course, great as always. I mean, what else to say about her?
Yeah, a lot of people hated on the Baxter on social, kind of just giving all the praise to Tiffany. I think Tiffany deserves most of the praise, but the match doesn't happen the way it does without Becky leading it.
No,
because Tiffany is still so new to this that she like needs the direction. But Tiffany Stratton
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a mega star. Like she's can't miss already because I think she does really good at like the I'm muscle Barbie or whatever the hell they wanted to try to trademark for her. Like that's essentially what she is. That's her gimmick, and she's really good at wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like for someone who's still very green in some ways,
Yeah.
this woman did a swanton from the top of from the top rope to the floor through
Yeah.
a tape. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on it.
She rules. I think another person who I think the moment she gets to the main roster, she's a made person. I think like her versus Jade would be a great like feud to establish. I think they've already sort of established her and Becky. And I think she could do a fantastic job. I should we talk about the conversation we had? I brought up in the chat in our Slack.
Yes.
If you bring Tiffany Stratton up to the main roster, I almost feel like there will be a redundancy in her and Charlotte Flair both being on the main roster. Again, I will hedge my bets and say that they will make sure that they are on different brands the entire time.
Until maybe like the end.
Until the very end. But I am just... Tiffany Stratton is like Charlotte Flair 2.0. And, I don't think they'll get necessarily rid of Flair or anything. She's the Flair. She has a long established thing in this company. But, like, when you look at, like, her and you look at Tiffany Stratton, someone, I don't know how old Charlotte Flair is, but Tiffany Stratton, she is, let's see how old she is. 24 years old. 24 years old.
The athletes thing is the smartest thing they could have done for NXT.
Charlotte Flair, 37. I'm not saying that anyone should lose their job or anything. I'm just saying that there is, in this, if you're WWE, I can't imagine any reason to really keep both of them. I can't, she does everything as good, if not better than Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair hasn't been great in a very long time.
And I quote, she hasn't been good since Becky Lynch became the man.
Yeah.
Consistently good.
Yeah, that's very true. And it is just like, at this point, 37 years old, too. You bring up Tiffany Stratton up to the main roster or whatever, like next year or 2 years from now. Charlotte Flair now pushing 40. And you have a 26-year-old, 25, 26-year-old right there. I'm not saying that her days are numbered, but Charlotte, your days are numbered. Tiffany Stratton is about to run laps. It's
in
happening. In
many ways, I think her days are numbered anyways.
Sure.
She's just so washed.
Yeah.
She doesn't care either. She hasn't cared in a long time.
No. And Tiffany Stratton obviously cares, or she wouldn't have been like, I would like to stay in NXT because I need to work on my selling, or to go out here tonight and fucking kill it. But do all these spots for no reason.
It's really interesting how like many prospects they have, like legitimate like big star prospects right now, because the main people we have highlighted aren't aren't Mello or Breaker.
Yeah.
Right? Who are the two main ones when 2.0 really kicked off. Or Roxy.
Yeah.
Roxy, obviously. And we know Roxy's good. But like it's the Creeds, it's Trick, it's Tiffany.
And Dragunov obviously, but he's
Dragunov and Dragon Lee, obviously.
Yeah, but they're way more established.
They're the ones for like all of us, like all of us hardcore fans. Those are the two we look at, and I guess Roxy would be the closest for the women too. But I'm excited.
But
Tiffany
has passed Roxy in this company so quickly.
Oh well, yeah, she is. She's a freak, like in a good way. Like she's a freak of nature. I think she is. Very natural. She has the same growth, I think, that Bianca had, and she's younger.
Yeah,
like she came into this younger. Yeah, I would agree. Tiffany has a higher ceiling than maybe right now, currently, any women in North America. Because she's 24.
Yeah.
She's already getting really good.
Yeah.
Strap the rocket to her. She'll be even better.
Yep.
She wants to learn.
Yep. I mean, Jade Cargill is probably the only other person that's there.
And Jade's older.
And Jade's significantly older.
Yeah.
Maybe not significantly older. I shouldn't say that, but
not significant. But yeah, I know what
you. Yeah, someone who could be a genuine prospect.
I think Tiffany's yeah.
I'm buying stock in Tiffany. I'm fully buying stock in Tiffany. Like at this point,
I already had stock, but I'm just getting more.
Yeah, you got stock on the cheap. You got stock on the cheap, and now I'm like, okay, before it explodes, I'll get in last second.
Get in last minute, make yourself some bucks,
Yeah. What
we do.
She's next level. She is next level. Well, let's preview before we end the show today. Again, I want to thank everybody for listening to Ring Post Radio, for following along to our streams as we record live, and of course, being a subscriber for the audios of Ring Post Radio. We thank everybody for doing this. I'll do some plugs here real quickly before we get to the last segment. Voicemail, you can leave us a call, 2525 Ring PR. 2525 Ring PR is the voicemail line. You can subscribe to the Patreon for more content, patreon.com/countoutpod. I don't exactly know when it'll come out, but I have a new episode of the Great Birthday Bash recorded. I just gotta put some stuff together for it, and then it will be ready to go. So that is recorded, so potentially sometime this week. Plus, even more big for us is that Scotty and I will be doing our live instant reaction to Wrestle Dream tonight, following the show, following AEW Wrestle Dream. So if you enjoy our thoughts on wrestling and you want to hear our thoughts more, you can subscribe to the Patreon. Luckily for the Wrestle Dream, you can hear our Wrestle Dream thoughts on any tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/countoutpod. So subscribe to the Patreon, listen to the Wrestle Dream. There's more content coming your way. Drop your shorts from Okada Shorts, Great Birthday Bash, and a bunch more content that's in the pipe and in the backlog. So go check it out. And plus, you can get free 7-day trials, and you can listen to it all on Spotify as well. So go check out patreon.com/countoutpod.
Good time to use that free trial.
Good. I agree. You got a Wrestle Dream and probably a Great Birthday Bash this week as well. So go check that out. Patreon.com/countoutpod. So our last topic here is Fastlane, WWE's pay-per-view happening this Saturday. Of course, being headlined none other than by John Cena. So they only have 4 matches announced so far, according to the page I'm looking at. So let's talk through them. We sort of already talked about this one, which was the Latino World Order, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, and a partner of their choosing, presumably Wild or Del Toro, maybe Dragon Lee, probably Dragon Lee, versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford in a 6-man tag.
Cool. Fine. Cool match. If it's Dragon Lee, it could be the match of the night.
I fully agree.
I think they're planning to do Gunther and Ciampa here, so they'll have a little competition. But I don't know. There's something about Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio teaming up that excites me.
Yeah, and I think any of them working with a guy like Montez Ford would be great. I think Bobby Lashley coming in there as a big old giant guy would work really well off of, especially guys like Rey Mysterio.
Bobby's really solid. I think Bobby's
extremely
overlooked at how solid of a wrestler he is. I will say this. I watched both Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. Would you believe me if I said Dominic and Dragon Lee had the better match?
Yeah, because Dragon Lee's great.
I know, but like, I think most people would say the stronger duo is the other one.
That might be fair.
But yeah, Dragon Lee's king, so you know.
Yeah, he's very good.
He was so good, he got himself booked on the main roster again.
Yeah, he was so good on Raw that he was like, "Hey, show up on SmackDown, just hang out and try to jump the barricade."
Yeah, we'll set you up a match with Austin Theory. Can you go for 2 for 2 and making our frauds look like champions? Big Dirty Dom guy though.
That's a useful asset on your show, I think.
Actually, Austin Theory is a real fraud. Dirty Dom's a real worker. So.
Dirty Dom. WWE Women's Championship match. Speaking of, Io Sky versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair.
What can we do to get Tiffany in this match?
Yeah, I agree. What can we do as a society to get Tiffany Stratton into this match? I mean, Tiffany Stratton would be great here. But Charlotte Flair, it's a triple threat. You can hide a little bit of the Flairisms. Asuka and Io Sky have already proven that they're really good, obviously, together. So that their sections of the match should be well done. And then Charlotte Flair will come in and put them in a double figure 8 somehow or something.
There's 2 ways to look at this match. This match is either made like this to get the belt off of Io without pinning her, or it's to not pin Charlotte Flair and have Io defend it successfully.
and have Charlotte one of the two. And have Flair do something.
Yeah. Worst case scenario is Charlotte just beats Io.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
most likely scenario is Charlotte just beats Io.
I think that's a probable scenario, but I prefer to keep it on Io. If not, keep it on Asuka. But
I prefer to keep on Io. She just got the belt.
I know. And it's Charlotte Flair. So that's like the other thing as well. It's like the problem with Charlotte Flair being around is just like you can only book her in world title programs. And it's just like she can't really go as much as she once did. So it is just like kind of like shoehorning her into like different spots throughout the year.
She used to have such a good moonsault. And then, like, once that went down the hill, I was like, oh, she's just bad now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened. And then she must have, like, winded herself or something on one. And she was like, I'm not going to hit that perfect anymore.
No. Does she still do it even?
I hope not.
I guess we'll find out.
She's going to hit an egregious one in this match. And we're going to be like, yep.
Yeah, we'll find out this Saturday for sure. Tag team match, special tag team match, John Cena and LA Knight, versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. Will this be the farewell match of John Cena's return to SmackDown?
Nah, he's set for the Saudi show, isn't he?
Oh, he probably is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is that then if he's set for the Saudi show, if it's not going to be John Cena versus Roman Reigns, which you would assume
LA Knight,
you would assume baby. Roman Reigns would come back for the Saudi show. Is it going to be John Cena versus LA Knight?
I think it's going to be LA Knight versus Roman Reigns.
That's also probable. So I don't know what's going to happen. There's also Survivor Series around the corner.
Yeah, well, what is Survivor Series now? Isn't that going to be...
typically November, so I actually don't know even why I said that.
Isn't that going to be TakeOver? Nope, not what I meant.
War Games. War Games. Yeah, but they got other matches on there.
It's going to be like Judgment Day versus Cody, Jey Uso, Kevin, and Sammy.
So we got FASTLANE. Yes, that's probably what they're going to be, the War Games match. And then the women's will be whatever the women is. Well, I mean, is there anything happening in the women's division right now that would warrant a War Games match? So Fastlane is this Saturday. Then the one after that will be Crown Jewel, November 4th. And then a couple weeks after that, November 25th, is Survivor Series. So they got like basically a month and a half to get to that. But so John Cena is probably maybe still around by that point. We'll see.
Hopefully not.
So LA Knight can do the Saudi show, lose to Roman, and then do Survivor Series versus Cena.
Yeah. Not that I don't want Cena to be around, by the way. I just would like, the strike to end. And
it's potentially ending. That was one of the discussion topics we were going to have, but we're actually almost out of time. The writer's strike, strike update. The writer's strike officially, well, not officially, but pretty much over.
It's over.
It's pretty much over. It's not officially over because if I'm not mistaken, the Writer Guild, like actual members of the Writers Guild, I don't think they voted on it yet. Once they vote on it and they ratify the contract, then it's officially like the contract's in. But the contract is so amazingly good that it will be unbelievable if it doesn't pass.
That's good to hear.
It's practically over. SAG,
one of those for the actors.
SAG is meeting with the studios tomorrow.
Ooh.
They have not met with the studios in months, so this will be the first time they met with them. I don't know, there's been no report if whether or not, like the Writers Guild meetings where the studio heads actually showed up, because they were like, we are ending this, we cannot continue. And like literally it's like SAG, they haven't broached the conversation in months. But you would have to assume if you're these studio heads, you might give in to the same sort of demands that they gave in with the writers. And if they do that...
You don't want the alpha intensity taking over.
No one wants the alpha intensity taking over. We can all agree on this. But if you are the studios and you want these strikes to end and they are figuring out the details, the writers' negotiations took like a week, roughly. So if the SAG negotiations end like Friday or Saturday, and then they can say, okay, people can start working, we can ratify the contract by the end of the month, there's most productions will start up if they have scripts. A couple other things will have to be written, obviously, but writers will have a little bit of a head start there. And then, it is a question of how long this SAG strike will continue, of whether or not John Cena and The Rock, especially The Rock, John Cena will show up at all for Survivor Series.
This means you get to work again.
Yeah. You have to assume they have projects lined up already that are just ready to start as soon as the strike.
Oh yeah, there's some for sure, which means Ryan gets to work again. So everyone be cheering it on.
I would love that. I can probably work earlier than most because we have to pay the writers and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Set up buildings and all these sort of things, but.
You're on a good
Scotty,
a good run.
Patreon.com/counterpod. I haven't had a job since April. That's how long it's been. I've been out of the game. I've been trying to get jobs. I've also been I've completely used up my unemployment. And I've been working on getting bookkeeping jobs, but realistically it's like my prospects are all dried up right as these strikes are ending, and I thank the Lord that it finally is ending, so I can get back to work and make actual real money again. But we'll get there. One of these days.
We'll get there.
One of these days. I gotta look at that website actually now that I think about it to see if there's the list is working. All right. Okay, no, it's not working. It's now been updated since March still. Anyways, Fastlane, John Cena, LA Knight, I fully expect them to win. LA Knight gets the win, maybe, the pin. Then that way he can set up the challenge for Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And then if John Cena's still around for Survivor Series, Crown Jewel for Roman Reigns and LA Knight. And if John Cena's still around for Survivor Series, he can do that. If not, then you just move on with your life, I guess. Moving on. The other match announced for Fastlane so far is a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Ugh. That is how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any give me a percent chance of
0.
Okay. I don't even know.
Chance that Shinsuke wins the title? 0.
I was gonna say Shinsuke Nakamura being great again.
-10.
Worse. Lower chance. Oh, God. If there's any match that can maybe do it, maybe it's this one. It's a last man standing. It's the WWE. You know, they can be good.
I know you don't feel confident about him being good ever again.
I fully put him in the washed camp. Fully washed.
Oh, yeah. Been washed, is washed, forever washed. It was a good run.
And don't even get me started on Nakamura.
you know who Nakamura is, or
fully joking.
You know how we called Yoda-Tsuji Naito?
Yes,
he's actually Nakamura.
Yoda-Tsuji, or
Yoda-Tsuji is original Nakamura.
High
down to the red pants, down to the red tight pants.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. Hopefully, it doesn't mean he leaves for WWE though.
Hey, if you throw, I'm sure if you throw Yoda-Tsuji into some mixed martial arts, Inokiism style, he can probably do fairly well. Maybe.
Yeah, he's just like similar, like popularity and stuff like that. I think.
Did you see the new tag team finisher for Yoda-Tsuji and Shingo Takagi?
No, but I did see Big Bills and Ricky Starks on Collision. That's pretty good.
Their new finisher is called the Pumping Blaster.
Jesus Christ.
Pumping Blaster?
You can't say that.
I hardly know her. It is basically the spear and a lariat at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Can't wait for them to win Tag League. Oh. I'm going to watch all of Tag League just for those two. I'm not going to watch all of Tag League. I'm just going to watch their matches.
You're going to watch the final, and that's it.
I'll watch all of their matches unless they face like Chase Owens.
100% they're going to have a Chase Owens and who else is in Bullet Club?
Doesn't even matter. I hate.
What if Chase?
My debate was going to be who was the masked guy at Dynamite.
Yeah.
The masked people.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
I think it's just 5 guys. I think it's Sonata. I think it's Doki. Is Doki in that group?
If it's the War Dogs, I might end it all.
Dude, they're my dogs. They're my dogs for real. I hope
it's my dog for real.
I hope it's Filthy Tom Lawler and the whole Filthy crew.
I hope it's TMDK.
Somehow JR Kratos lost a shit ton of weight. And
you hear that Shane Haste rap? I hope it's TMDK. And Bad Dude Tito's like, stop! You're making us sound like nerds.
I like how they flew. I like how they flew Bad Dude Tito out for Destruction in Kobe, and then flew him back to Seattle to pop up in Collision and Wrestle Dream. He didn't work any of the tour, and then he just flew out.
That's a draw, baby.
Flew out for Destruction in Kobe. Picked up the W, by the way. Picked up the dub.
I like Bad Dude Tito.
I love him. I think he's great.
TMDK is a great group.
100%.
Half of it makes no sense. Zach, Bad Dude Tito, TMDK.
Mikey Nichols is great.
Kosei Fujita.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's a real group.
Yeah, those are my dogs for real. Any other thoughts on Fastlane? Nope. Okay, so that is the end of the show. Ring Post Radio again. Thank you everybody for listening to this week's.
If you wanted me to.
The end of this week's episode of Ring Post Radio again. Patreon.com/CountOutPod to be able to listen to our Wrestle Dream thoughts. Our AEW Wrestle Dream. We're recording that live. Of course, it'll be on there forever. So if you want to not listen live for any reason, I don't know why you would do that. But if you want to listen on Monday, you'll be able to listen to it on patreon.com/CountOutPod. AEW Wrestle Dream, again, patreon.com/CountOutPod. And we'll have other content, of course, coming out at some point this week. Scotty, anything to plug?
14 matches. 14.
The 14 matches includes the kickoff, right?
I got nothing to plug. I want to hear my 5-star Grand Prix review. That's over on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. For free. Fun conversation talking about that. And my match of the week is Teton versus Mascara Dorada.
Yeah, how good was that match? Please tell me it was great.
Probably my second favorite lucha match of the year.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's probably like Rocky versus Volador, then this one.
Holy shit. That's what I'm talking about. Holy crap, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that immediately.
Yeah, it was $5.
Oh, god. Dude,
the whole show was $5.
We should have punted NXT and talked about CMLL. What are we doing?
Mystico versus Varus was pretty good. Stephanie Vaquer is a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Good show.
El Barbero Cavernario wrestled.
He sure did.
I definitely gotta go check out that show. Follow Scotty on X at Scotty.
Oh yeah, follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter X.
X Twitter. Follow me on
That's
Twitter.
the porn site for Twitter. Sorry, continue.
Pumping Bomber.
Pumping Blaster.
My apologies. Bomber.
Pumping Bomber.
At Ryan Knightsey on the socials, at CountOutPod, everywhere you get it. Patreon.com/CountOutPod. Again, that's that plug. Leave us a voicemail, drop us a line. 2525 ring PR. Load up your phone, 2525 ring PR, and you will be able to leave us a voicemail.
Let me know how much money you invested in Tiffany Stratton, because let's just say if it doesn't work out, I may no longer have a home.
Yeah, if you got any thoughts about that, any thoughts about anything we talked about today, or any thoughts about the stuff we'll be talking about next week, which will be FASTLANE, Destruction Ryogoku, Royal Quest 3, or what you want to be called as a fan, or the Pumping Blasters, maybe. Already
Anniversary of Dynamite.
Anniversary of Dynamite, probably as well. We got a lot to talk about. Drop us a line, 2525.
The new era?
PR. The new era, whatever that will look like, whatever that'll shape out to be. Give us your thoughts. 2525 ring PR. My match of the week. I've been catching up on Collision. That's what I've been doing.
What?
I've been I have I have not watched like the last 5 Collisions. So
oh my god! So you watched a Collision with CM Punk on it?
Yes. I believe I did. Yeah, but I don't think it was an actual match. I watched.
He was so behind on Collision. He saw CM Punk.
This is how far I watched my match of the week: Darby Allin versus Christian Cage from Fight for the Fallen. And I believe that was the show that had CM Punk as the Golden Vampire against Samoa Joe.
So that has to have you pretty excited, right?
For CM Punk versus Samoa Joe? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a fine affair. I'm pretty sure
no
drama.
For Christian Cage and Darby.
Oh, yeah. That match was really good. I fully expected that match to be great. And especially in Seattle, I think Darby's going to give it his all. The match should be fantastic, dude.
Are you acting like Darby doesn't always give it his all?
Oh, I'm saying he'll give even more.
That's terrifying.
I know. I don't know what that means, but it's terrifying.
I'm scared for Christian.
Yeah. And I think the only way... Yeah, and I think it's going to be great. I'm scared for Christian. I think Darby's fully winning it, and I'm excited. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to plug. We've been sort of talking for a little bit. Yeah, I think that's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Again, we'll be back next week for an all-new episode. If you're a Patreon subscriber, we'll be back tonight to review AEW Wrestle Dream. Till next week, folks. Bye.